Hey, good morning. How are you? This is Wanda, and I'm coming to you because there's something that I want to say. Um, I am in my 50s, early 50s, and I had to have a total knee replacement about 2 years ago. And I'm gonna tell you how it all started. Um, I walk for exercise, and I was running and things like that. I would say my physical level was um almost high. Okay, my sister and I used to walk downtown and things like that for like maybe like 3 or 4 hours a day and things like that. Well, she noticed that my walking was a little off, and also my tennis shoes that I was wearing was a little off. Well, I told her that I had pain in my feet, and so she was like, maybe I need to go see a doctor. So I did. They did some tests. They ran an ultrasound or X-ray or whatever, and found out I had bone spurs in my feet. So I'm like, okay. So they put me in therapy for that, and I did that, and I even bought the high brand tennis shoes that they recommended, like Hoka and things like that. I did that, and that seemed to work. Well, they suggested that I buy a couple of pairs. So I did. I bought a pair for work and a pair for walking. Well, needless to say, that the expensive brand, it went out it didn't like the tread on it didn't last 6 months. It didn't even last three. I was only wearing them to work. Um, and I'm basically on my feet like about 12 hours a day, working plus other things. So basically, work was 8, and everything else, walking dogs and things like that. So yeah, but got to a point where the shoes didn't work, and I was using everything under the sun on my legs and feet for pain. One would be like for my legs, I would rub myself down with like Dr. Teal's um, the moisturizing bath and body oil. I would use this on myself. Can you see that? Okay, and also um, I would do a soak every day in using Dr. Teal's muscle rub. Yes, it worked. It did, and it got to a point to where that I was in so much pain that I would find myself using a basket to leave up out of work, you know, and those are like my older coworkers who would do things like that, and I'm like, wow, man, So, um, they ended up running an ultrasound on my leg and found out that I had a blockage in my right leg. So I saw a heart specialist, and he cleared that blockage for me. Well, lo and behold, that opened up a whole can of worms. Come to find out that I was actually bone on bone in both of my knees at such a young age, you know. And so I'm like, okay. Like I say, I would do the muscle rub and everything. And I also use like Vicks Vapor Rub. I didn't care smelling like mentholatum going to work. I was in pain, and I actually carried it with me. And the only thing I took for pain was Tylenol. Okay, okay. And from there, doctors. That my doctor was like, walk for the pain. And I'm like, you got to be crazy. I'm barely can walk, but you want me to walk. Not only get my exercise in, but you want me to walk to kind of like get rid of the pain. Well, it got to a point to where I had to get injections in my knees. Boy, that needle had to have been about 5 inches long, and I'm like, man, I don't see how. They tried to dissuade me from looking at it, and I did, even while the doctor was looking at me. I did. I looked at the injection. I'm like, okay, it's over with. Well, I had immediate relief right afterwards. We went to Walmart, and let me tell you, yes, I could walk. It was like my joints had been lubricated. So, did that. Well, the injection did last. I had an injection in both knees. The injection lasted for about 3 months because you can't get them in between. That's what they tell you. You can only get that injection every 3 months. And I vowed that I have customers that they live for those injections, and I vowed that I would never be one of those people. But neither did I ever think that I would find myself in that type of predicament. I never did. So, guess what? I think I went about a year and a half to 2 years getting injection in both knees. And so, it started working. So, guess what? I had to have a TNR, a total knee replacement. He didn't even discuss partial. I had to have a total knee replacement on the left knee because that was the worst knee. Basically, I had to decide which one. So, I waited and I kind of journaled my adventure, my daily pain and what I ate and things like that. So I decided my left knee. Did the left knee? Cool, fine. Okay. What they're not gonna tell you is, for all you women and men, well, I'm gonna talk to the ladies. Ladies, all of us who like to get our nails and our feet done, you can't have anything on your nails or your feet, meaning no nail polish. Your hands and your feet have to be like a baby, a brand new baby. When you go into the hospital, you cannot have anything on your hands or your feet. So I would suggest do get a pedicure, but don't let them use a drill on your hands or your feet. And just don't get anything. Just say, hey, I want to be natural for today. So, mine was not an outpatient procedure. I had to stay in the hospital for a day. Let me tell you, they got me up the next day for physical therapy. Before I could go home, I had to walk. So, yes, they brought a walker into me and everything. So, I was able to go home, I think, a day or so later. Well, before everything, I started doing my homework. I started doing some research on YouTube and on Pinterest and just Google altogether. So, what I did was, I didn't even wait for the doctor in the hospital to write me a prescription. Even though he did, I bought my own toilet riser with handles on there because I knew that I was very proactive in this part of my journey of my life, dealing with my knees. I bought a high riser for the toilet because I would need something to help me to lift up, from the toilet. And I also bought a pillow off of Amazon, and I blew that up by mouth because you're gonna have to elevate your legs and ice your legs. And let me tell you, they didn't wait for therapy. I had to go to therapy the next day after I got home. Boy, so they're gonna do an assessment on you in therapy, and then your journey begins. And yes, it is a very painful journey. Trust me, it's very painful. You're gonna have to do the work for yourself. They're gonna show you what to do and how to do, how many times a day to do. But once you leave therapy, do get rest. But you're gonna have to do the work. You can't just sit there once you were done with therapy for the day. You can't just sit there. You're gonna have to push yourself and go beyond the many times a day and edge yourself to the edge of that seat and to try to do some squats to get that bend in that knee. And I had some very good physical therapists. I have been going to this place of business for many years for different ailments in my body, and I never had this one particular therapist. He was my first one. He was the quiet one, thinking he's gonna be good with me. He was very hard on me. Trust me, he was very hard on me. And a lot of times we would be talking and he would at the end, towards the visit for the day, he would work with me after icing me over and things like that. And we were talking. He took my knee and pushed my knee all the way up to my chest. Boy, you talking about I flipped over on that mat, and they thought I was laughing. I'm a good giggle box. Baby, I cried. That was so painful. But they do want to release you with a flexion of 110 to 100 degrees. And, because they want to ensure that you're able to do your daily life activities once you are released from therapy, So that's very good. Okay. I'm going to say this. Before you set that day, whether you're at that journey or you're contemplating about having a total knee replacement because of a doctor's suggestion, I'm going to say you're going to need support. I did not have the emotional support that I needed. I had to kind of go through this process by myself. I had God's help, and I prayed to God, and I talked to God, and I had support from family coming to pick me up and take me to doctor visits and things like that, But you want to ensure that you have everything in place, like food, cleaning supplies, everything that you're going to need for your pets, whether it's dog food, cat food, whatever. You're going to need everything in place. So the reason, and I'm going to say, be gentle with your caretaker, because they're not in your body. They don't know what you're going through. So you want to be nice to them. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to curse them out or be mean to them, because that's going to push them away from wanting to take care of you. They're only there to help you. So, and I was very gentle with my mom and my husband. Sometimes you're going to be a little short-tempered, but, try not to be so mean, okay? All right? In the midst of therapy, I think I was like 3/4 of a way, okay? The wound was healing and everything. Guess what? I was putting so much support on the right leg. Guess what? It gave out. Well, before that, I asked them. I said, "When are y'all gonna release me with a cane?" I was like, "Oh no, we're not gonna give you a cane. You're gonna be walking up out of here without any assistance." Well, when that right leg went out, I went in one day, and they was like, "What's wrong with you?" I walked through the door with my walker. I was back using my walker, and I said, "I can't walk." They said, "What they mean you can't walk?" I said, "My right leg done gave out." So, I went to see my doctor for a checkup on the left leg, for my left knee rather. And so he was like, "What's wrong?" He said, "I ain't gonna say nothing." He said, "Just let me know when." So the nurse took me back, and we went ahead and set up for the second surgery on my right knee. I was okay. And I was okay because this time around I knew what was going to be expected of me, with the pain and everything. I know they're not playing games in physical therapy. So, and and as I was going to see this doctor from the beginning, I would see his patients. I would see their knees, and I'm like, wow, man, that's an ugly scar. I'm like, are my knees gonna be looking like that? And I would crap because I didn't want that ugly mark on my body. Well, in physical therapy, they're going to work on pushing it down flat. And it's painful when they do. It's not that painful, but I mean, they did. And the scar on both knees, they're flat. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to have to use maybe like they're going to suggest that you use vitamin E oil or either some cocoa butter. I use both. Trust me. I still have an arsenal of of everything that I use throughout this whole journey. And had to replace some things. So this morning the weather is cold outside, so I'm gonna have to put some of this on my knees because I can actually feel the implants. They don't hurt, but it's a little bothersome, and things like that. Because like I say, I'm up on my feet all day. And another thing with that, I was off work 8 months because I had planned to just get the left knee done that first year, and the next year I was going to get the right. Well, then, like I said, it didn't work like that. That leg went out. That knee went out, and I had to do the journey all over again. And I was off work a total of 8 months, and with my job, I had to exceed the physical therapy visits, and I was thankful for that because there's no way I would have be able to be where I'm at without that, And when they released me from therapy on this right knee, for some reason I was released with a bend. I had the flexion that was required to be released. Well, it wasn't until I went back to work that that bend went out. I went back to work with accommodations, sit down every 15 minutes as needed, And like I say, I was placed in a different position, and I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to go back and have my old position and sit there. That was like, no, we're gonna put you somewhere else. So I cried, but you know what? I overcame that, and so I had to buy myself a chair. They were supposed to provide it for me, but they didn't. So I bought my own chair that would be comfortable for me, and I used it when I needed to. I sat down when I needed to. But like I say, when I went back to work, I had a little hop, skip type walk, and that's how I was out in public. It wasn't until I went back to work that went out. And to this day, it's almost 2 years later. I'll actually have my checkup next month on my left knee, but basically it'll be for both. I do get a pedicure and a manicure, but I don't let them drill at all. I just get it plain. I don't want no polish. I don't want no nothing because I just don't. I've gotten used to not having nails on and no acrylic polish on my feet or my hands. So basically they know when I come in, she don't want that. So I'm going to say continue to do your exercises. Yes, it's 2 hours later. I mean, not 2 hours later. I'm sorry. It's 2 years later. I still do the exercises that I did in physical therapy because you're going to need that muscle tone. You're going to lose it throughout this journey. So you want to be able to keep it, and the pain is gone. Thankfully, I didn't think I was going to get over the pain or that pain will go away. It does. It goes away. It gets easier. You think it's not, but believe you me, it's going to get easier. And when I had a visit with my doctor throughout the process, and I was telling him, no, I'm sorry, the orthopedic specialist, I was telling him I can't sleep. I couldn't sleep. So he was like, I can prescribe you some such and such. I said, no, I can't sleep. So he was like, my mom was like, well, she's a lightweight. So he suggested getting melatonin. So I got this. And I'll say, yeah, it helped. I took it every night to help me sleep because, like I say, your body's trying to get you adjusted. You're going to be tossing and turning every night trying to get comfortable, So at this point, yes, I do toss and turn a little bit, and mainly that's because your body knows. Your knees know, the rain, the coldness, your knees know. So you're gonna be fine throughout this process. So I do wish you well on your journey with your knee replacement. If you are deciding it, I'm going to say you can't go wrong with it. You don't want to suffer through life in pain. Like I say, I'm only 52, and who would have ever thought that I would be needing a knee replacement at that age, So I do wish you well on your journey. Like I said, you're gonna be fine and get everything in place. Have a blessed day.